like to call this meeting to order. First, I'd like to announce that this meeting is being recorded and ask if there's anyone in the audience who is also recording this meeting. Seeing none, if we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item we have is public comment, and Mr. Page had signed. That was your signature, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't write too good with this on. But, good evening, Wayne Page, 90 Old Common Road. I'm just come up tonight to, I know you had a big thing with the Purple Hat, Auburn becoming the community of the Purple Hat, but I just want to let people bring them back a little bit, just to let them know that there was a couple people that night, I think, that should have been named over it, because I know in the beginning, this Purple Hat whole thing had started where there were 3 residents that went out and did this. It had nothing to do with the town officials or the town Board of Selectmen, and I just wanted to thank them once again. It's Dick Langevin and Cindy Blaze that really helped push this forward for the town at no cost to the town at that time. And they just did a wonderful job for our service people, men and women. And I just think, I was kind of surprised that nobody got up at the was able to get up, or it just wasn't to be that nobody could get up and speak, because I would have got up then and said something about these people that really put their heart out, and the businesses and the residents that gave all the donations. I know one of the Board of Selectmen had gave a donation, but I mean, there's a lot of the people and the service people that put into this Purple Heart Monument, and I just wanted to thank them once again for doing such a job for the town with no money at that time. And on another note, I'd like to say there's a petition put in for the town meeting for citizens had made a petition to add wings to the Purple Heart, to put names on of people that couldn't get on before because there was no room and there was no money at that time, and hopefully you will support that coming to you for warrant articles coming up for a town meeting. And I know the people will support it, and I'm just hoping that you will support it. And I want to thank those people that started this from day one without the town's funds and making it work. And now they'll be asking you and the people on that citizens petition to make this work for years and years and years to come for those who received the Purple Heart, and just keep it going for our service people. And I want to thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Page. I just wanted to just follow up just for a second, and I'm the one that recognized the different groups. We did have a full house here at the last meeting, but we have, you know, and certainly it would have been nice to recognize the Purple Hat Committee, which when I looked down at my notes, I saw that I hadn't singled them out. But this Purple Hat designation was, just so we're clear, completely separate from having a Purple Heart monument in the town. You know, whether we had the Purple Heart monument in town or not, it was having the town designated, as many towns throughout the Commonwealth recently have been designated. It's just a designation that we're a Purple Heart town. So I don't want to
Right. I don't
confuse the two, that it had to do with the Purple Heart Monument. The designation and the monument are two separate.
Well, me personally believe that it does have to do with the Purple Heart Monument, because if it wasn't for these people going out and doing what they did to get this Purple Heart, we wouldn't have one, and I don't think we would have brought it up to this day to make us a community of a Purple Heart without having one. And I'm just hoping that, you know, I wanted them to be recognized because they did do this, and it wasn't
Yeah, no, I'm not challenging that.
And that's why I'm asking that you guys support the petition that is going to town meeting warrant to help it along for other service people that are going to need it, where, you know, they're going to need the money.
And I'm sure you'll be here, well, we have that a little further on the agenda.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thanks. So there's no other public comment. There are no public hearings or presentations. In your packet, you have a letter from Marcia Orkarsik that she is resigning from the Zoning Board of Appeals immediately. So if the board chooses, we'll have to take a couple steps. One would be at our next meeting to designate one of the alternates as a full member. That would leave a full board and one alternate, and then we would advertise for another alternate. But tonight, it's just basically informational to let you know that Marcia Orkarsik has resigned and will be taking action on the Zoning Board of Appeals appointment at our next meeting. Mr. Grossman.
Yes, Marcia has spent many years on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I think we should send her a letter of gratitude and thanking her for all the time that she put in for her service to the town and the board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. The next item we have is a one-day beer and wine license for the Knights of Columbus, St. Joseph's Parish at 68 Central Street. Is there someone for that item here? If you could come up, please. Just give your name for the record and tell us about what you're doing.
My name is Joseph Butler, and we're trying to do another night at the races, a fundraiser that, so far, we've raised close to $35,000 for charity. It's a one-night event held at the St. Joseph Parish Center, and it's going to be our 7th year. What else you need?
Well, I'll just mention to board members that we do have the diagram that is part of the board's request. There is tip certification included in the packet. The police chief has no objections, and they have gone before DCG, and there are 3 conditions that the DCG has recommended.
Right, and they've all been taken care of.
Did you draw this?
Huh?
Did you draw this?
Say it one more time.
Did you draw this?
Beautiful, huh?
It is fantastic.
Yes.
Some of them 8-foot tables, some of them 7.5, some of them 9.
Yeah. We're not exactly sure which ones I'm going to use yet.
Okay. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Is there any public question or comment? Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the license, provided that all applicable requirements of the state and town in any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void.
Is there a
And with the conditions of the DCG to be placed on the license.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. You can stay right there, Mr.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the application fee for this night because it's a nonprofit.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted.
Thank you.
And the next item we have is a seasonal open-air license on town property, Boy Scout Troop 101, at the public library. Mr. Butler.
I'll take that one, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The open-air license is obviously, it's a yard sale Memorial Day weekend that we always have for the last, I guess, 18 years in Auburn. Basically, all the funds raised goes to the children to go to summer camp, which costs now $400 a child. So if there's anybody out there who wants to donate some household goods, no electronics, no TVs, but, and no clothes, but anything else that you got a garage full of stuff, give me a call. I'm in the phone book, and we'll come to your house and pick it up.
Okay. Great, thank you. So in your packet is the parking light policy and application that has been signed off by the library director. We also have the liability waiver that Mr. Butler has signed, and the tax exempt 501c3 documentation. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the license, provide all applicable requirements of the state and town and any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted.
Did you run out of crayons? No
Yes.
drawing.
Are you making a motion for the fee? Is there a
Also,
I don't know if there's a fee with this one.
is there, I don't know if, is there a fee with this, with the yard sale?
There is.
Yeah,
but
there must be.
You can waive it if...
No. Motion to waive the fee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thanks.
Thank
Good
you
luck
guys
with both
again.
events.
Thank you much.
Next item we have is gift acceptance in your packet, again, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, to the Town of Auburn from Allied Waste Community Partnership Program in the amount of $1,800 for the 2014 Summer in the Park Concert Series. And I think Ms. Jacobson would like to say something
I
on
want
this.
to, through the chair, just acknowledge and thank Allied Waste for approaching the town. They do have a community partnership program whereby they support various events and initiatives in the communities in which they serve, and they are our contractor for waste removal. And they have generously agreed to donate $1,800. They would like to present a check to the board when the weather clears up, and they can do so at the site where
Okay.
the Pappas Recreation Complex is, and therefore the pavilion. They're also, and we'll give you some further information, but they've also agreed to work with us on our electronics take-back program. They're providing some much-needed boxes for us to remove all the electronics that we take out when we do that program. So they've been a good community partner. They have, again, approached us and looking for ways to help. So we want to thank them.
Thank you.
Can you ask them to make it one of those big golf checks?
The large check, yes.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept with gratitude.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. To the fire department gift account, we have a few. Jane Blinkhorn in the amount of $30, Charlene Cooney in the amount of $50, Donald and Tony Fitzpatrick in the amount of $50, and Rita and Dean Mearsman in the amount of $15.
Motion to accept with gratitude.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Next on the agenda is the vote to open the warrant for the annual town meeting. The board would need to vote to open the town meeting warrant for the May 6, 2014 annual town meeting, and then also a second vote to close the warrant on Monday, March 24th at 2014 at 4 p.m. So first, is there a motion to open?
Motion to open the town meeting warrant for the May 6th, 2014 annual town meeting.
Second.
Okay, so we're under discussion. So now we'll just discuss, you've presented to the town a citizen's petition with the appropriate number of signatures, so that will go on to the warrant. But I wanted to make you aware that, that it's my understanding that the Veterans Advisory Committee will also be proposing a warrant article for funding for the Purple Heart Monument.
With no due respect to the Veterans Committee, but I believe one of the members went above and beyond the chairman of that committee and was trying to put a warrant article on there without the authority of the board or through the chairman. So this is why this petition was actually done by the citizens, because we want to make sure that it's done proper and right and not stepping on people's toes like
Okay.
going on. I know you don't know, and I don't expect you
Yeah,
to.
no, I just became aware of both, so.
I have a copy if the chairman would like it, and you can make copies for the rest of the board if you want.
The warrant
The
article?
citizen one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Sharon will make it available to the members.
I'll wait till,
I guess the only question I have there is I don't think it's happened since I've been here, but if there's two articles asking for the same thing, how's that handled?
through the chair,
Just gonna-
we will look into it, perhaps we combine them. I'm not sure how we should do that, if they're both asking for the same thing, which is a good thing, because it means it's support. I do want to say that the Veterans Advisory Committee, I myself personally went to a couple of the meetings and talked to them about filing a warrant article to expand the monument. The committee had received a couple of different quotes, and then came back to town administration and asked how to fund this, and because there wasn't any money in the budget at the time, we recommended that they go forward and file a warrant article for the May town meeting. When I met with them, I believe the last meeting I was at was either December or January with them, and I told them that we would put a placeholder on the warrant for them, and that they would prepare this and put it on as a committee. A number of committees do sponsor warrant articles, that's certainly legitimate, it happens all the time. And they were going to be sponsoring the warrant article for the estimated cost of the quotes that they had received. So we can find out from town council how to proceed. Either way, the good news is, everybody seems to want to have this done.
Through the chairman, the citizens petition has already been stamped in, and it is already an article for town meeting warrant, and it is the citizens petition. Like I said, if you look at that petition, there's the chairman of the advisory committee is even on that because of the problems that occurred. And I don't like bringing up the problems that occurred because this is for the veterans, and this is why that petition from the citizens was made, because the problems. So now it's been punched in through the town clerk today, as it's noted on the citizen thing. There's no other warrants have been put through.
And I had said that when I acknowledged, it was properly submitted, so we'll have further information on these articles. Mr. Simonian?
Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I'm just asking the question because, like I said, I don't believe it's happened since I've been here. If there's two articles that are asking for the same thing, obviously, we wouldn't need to approve two separate articles, so it would have to be worked out in the wash somehow. That's all. Is that it could, I don't want there to be contention or how, it's got to be handled some way. We'll just need to figure that out. I'm just raising the point for the sake that there could be two articles asking for the same thing from two different groups, and, we need to be aware that that could happen.
But
I have no opposition to it.
No, I understand that, Steve, and the thing is, we really don't want the opposition, but the opposition was put there. And the thing is, the chairman of that committee had signed this petition for the citizens of the town.
I don't want to go back and forth with the committees and the things. We have limited information tonight, which more will be brought to the board, but
Okay, that's fine.
I just want to remind members that we actually haven't even taken a vote to open the warrant yet, so the warrant hasn't even been opened.
But it has been put in through the town clerk's office, and it was accepted.
Right, but the warrant hasn't been officially opened yet. So is there any further discussion on opening the warrant? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Is there a motion regarding the closing of the warrant?
Motion to close the warrant on Monday, March 24th, 2014, at 4 PM.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. The next item is a vote to schedule a meeting for the goals and objectives. That would be for both the manager and the Board of Selectmen. Our schedule this month, we have a second, fourth, and fifth Monday. For scheduled meetings, we have no hearings scheduled for the fifth Monday. I think if any came in at this point, it would be too late for hearings if they had to be advertised anyway. So my first recommendation would be to use the fifth Monday as a working session to discuss the goals and objectives for both the manager and the board, And if members are available to meet a little bit earlier, we could maybe meet at 6 o'clock. And I think the planning board room is comfortable so that we can have more of a discussion for that. Mr. Holstrom?
Is there a time schedule on that? I haven't got that in front of me, so I didn't know if there's a set time or a set time that we have to have those done.
Well, the manager's goals should be set by the end of March, am I correct?
Through the chair, they should be, occasionally they've been set in early April. I don't believe you had a specific time
Right.
frame, but
Okay.
it was more practice to try to get them done in March,
Right.
because
Right.
technically, that's already 2 months into the year, the
Mhm.
contract year.
Okay, thank you.
So in the alternative, I mean, we should be meeting on the fifth Monday anyway, but if board members aren't available for that, then we do have the option of Monday, March 17th, which is an off week. So I'll open it up for comments and availability. So the proposal is
Either
for
way,
the...
I'm available. I mean, if we...
the fifth
and,
Monday.
Town manager had mentioned that we're into March, and usually if we don't get the goals until April, we're already into the first quarter, so if we could get it on the 17th and get started, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do if we have nothing else coming up.
It's okay with me.
Mrs. Spooning?
The last Monday isn't a problem, obviously, because we have, but if we have an earlier start, that might be, I typically have a later
7
work
o'clock
meeting
is
on
fine.
Mondays. So, I mean, 6:30, probably, 6 might be tough.
Well, we'd have to post it. Would 6:30 work?
I think 6:30 would be fine, so.
Unless, Mrs. Brotherton, you have any problems with the fifth Monday. It looks like all members are available on the fifth Monday,
No conflict.
6:30. So Sean will post the meeting for 6:30 if the planning board room is available. That would be the preferred meeting room. Thank you, everyone. We have no proclamations in your packet. We have a drain layers license for T&M Equipment Corporation in Springfield. Per our policy, they didn't need to be here. We have a letter from Jeff Mitchell that they have paid the fee, and the company has been licensed with the town of Auburn previously. They are recommending the drain layers license. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the license provided all applicable requirements of the state and town, any of its departments, boards, commissions had been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all the conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Next item is member items. There were none submitted. Do we have any member items?
I just, I'm going to ask this question now, and I don't want to open up a can of worms, because obviously there's already some contention, but is there going to be any kind of presentation regarding the Purple Heart Monument and the expansion of it? Or, the only reason I ask is because I think there was a point, at some point, where there was a discussion that the committee was going to look at different ways to possibly add on to it, and I don't know, when they were soliciting bids, was it determined that adding wings to it was the best way to do it, or, I mean, if there's going to be a time where there's a discussion, I don't want to have it now, but started to ask the question if there will be some sort of, before town meeting, some sort of discussion about it.
Through the chair, I can speak to the chairman of the Veterans Advisory Committee. It was my understanding that they looked at a couple of different ways to expand and add additional names, and that they had a couple of different companies come out and take a look at it, and that the best, and I believe probably one of the only ways to do it would be to add on to it. They did receive a couple of quotes, I believe around $5,000 was the quote to do that. Based on that, it's my understanding from the chair of the committee at the last meeting that I was at, that they would be sponsoring a warrant article and then coming in and being prepared to speak to it at town meeting.
All right, fair enough.
Is that it? Mr. Simone?
No,
All set?
yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Brotherton?
Yes, I was going to raise the entertainment idea tonight. I recently came across where I was working with some elderly during an office hour up at the Stoneville Heights, and I know many of us do have office hours at various locations in the town, and I am hoping, as we educate our most vulnerable, the elderly, our seniors, for them to check to make sure that the person at the door is truly the person who they are, that those of us that work within the community possibly entertain the thought of ID badges so that the officials could be recognized if there was any concern or question, or protect us if there was a concern.
Thank you. Did you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. We'll definitely follow up with that.
Thank you.
And I just want to mention an event that was in town. I thought that's where Mr. Simonian was going, because I know he was down there for a better part of the weekend. So I just wanted to mention, the town of Auburn played host to the Special Olympics over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and it was just an absolutely incredible event. There were hundreds of people down there, and each year I see more and more volunteers from the town coming down, more and more residents coming down, even if it's just for a few minutes to watch the games. So, kudos to Kristen Pappas and the Recreation and Culture Committee. They did a great job as host. And again, thank you to Special Olympics of Massachusetts for choosing Auburn as their preferred site, and we hope that you'll be back next year. Mr. Simonian.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing on that, because I was kind of surprised that I heard this, but, so just so people know, someone had actually said to me, there were a large amount of younger kids who volunteered and did a lot of things, and someone actually said to me, I didn't realize kids could volunteer. They thought it was all adults, so I mean, next year,
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
And there were a great amount of them, so they had a good time.
Yeah, and they just have to sign off on a liability waiver, and there were, Boy Scouts and cheerleaders and athletic, sports groups. It was a pretty amazing event, so made Auburn proud. Is there anything else under member items? Moving on to town manager items. Ms. Jacobson.
Through the chair, the only item that I had this evening was, I just wanted to make sure we had a public recognition and acknowledgement of two longtime Town of Auburn employees who recently retired at the end of February. The first is Terry Lolax. As you know, she's the treasurer collector. She's been with the Town of Auburn 19 years at the end of February, and she was, previous to her role as treasurer collector, which she's been since 2011, she was the collector for the town. And I can't say enough about the tremendous job that Terry did for this community and for the residents and taxpayers of this community. She was always there to serve them, always helpful. She helped more residents and taxpayers in her career. You think of it, we send out 60 to 70,000 bills that go out of that office when we do a mailing on billing. And of that, just imagine the number of people who have questions or concerns or need some help, and Terry's always been there to help. So we just want to thank her for her years of service, acknowledge her, and wish her well in her retirement.
Thank you.
And second, likewise, we have another longtime Town of Auburn employee, Sergeant Jay Johnson, just retired last week from the Auburn Police Department after 30 years of service. And again, I feel like I couldn't even appropriately say everything that there is to say about Jay Johnson, but anyone who knows Sergeant Johnson, if they were to ask about him, every single comment that will come back to you will be positive. People admire him, they respect him, and they're grateful for the work that he did on behalf of this community. I can't even tell you how he touched the residents of this community in different ways that people don't even know. He's been involved in a number of different events, helping to plan those events, helping to make them more successful because of his knowledge and his expertise. And I know internally we will miss him terribly. He's been a great team player. He's been there for all the meetings we've had internally. But just for the community, I can't say enough about Sergeant Johnson and what he's given to this community. And once again, we will miss him, but we really hope that he enjoys his retirement and enjoys his family. These are two fantastic employees, and we've been very, very lucky for decades to have both of them. It's a lot of experience to be losing in 1 month like that.
Yeah,
So we thank them
absolutely.
both.
Our best-
Congratulations to
yes,
both of you.
absolutely. Did you have anything else?
I do not, thank you.
There are no tabled items. Is there any additional public comment? Mr. Robidoux?
Morning, Board. Good morning, I'm sorry, good evening. I'm just here to say thank Jay Johnson for his service to town. Jay's been an awesome police officer. I've known him for 12 years, and Jay's been utmost respectful to everybody that I've seen him around, and also my family. So I just want to come here and thank him personally for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robidoux. No additional public comment. We have the minutes of July 15th, 2013. If there are no corrections or omissions, the chair will accept them as written. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? We are adjourned.